P. Diddy placed on suicide watch. Let's talk about it. I can't believe this is where we're at. This is a developing story literally by the minute, and so many people are really excited to see the jury go down. The whole entire court case will be televised, and we're gonna be giving you up to the minute information about it. Now, right now, from what I've been told, P. Diddy is held in a private prison in the Bronx. It's kind of separations, kind of like a segregated moment. Because he is a high profile celebrity, he's not gonna be in a common prison with everyone else, but now he's been placed on suicide watch. Now, you guys, he tried to get bail twice. It got denied. He offered $50 million for bail, and both judges denied it. So here we go.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs on suicide watch at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center after two judges denied his request for bail. This as a grand jury is expected to hear new testimony from sex workers very soon. Good day.
Okay, so we're supposed to be hearing new testimonies from sex workers. All right. Now keep in mind, in some states, some cities, it's legal to be a sex worker, okay? In some states, it's illegal to be a sex worker. Now, what they're not telling you that we know from behind the scenes is that some of these sex workers are men, right? And there is one in particular that everyone's looking for, that there is video footage of this one male sex worker that was at a P. Diddy party and one of his freak-offs where P. Diddy on camera assaulted him. They are looking for him to come forward and speak out. Some of these people are not going to speak out in fear of retaliation. Even though P. Diddy, it might be in prison, he can have people make moves for him outside in general public. So from what I'm hearing, more people are going to come forward and talk about their experiences with P. Diddy. It's mainly women, but there's also sex working men who are on the fence about coming out, because once that comes out, that's gonna be like a shocking tale. Now, we know, you've been following me here on YouTube, and up to the date we were talking about P. Diddy, we've been talking about these male sex workers, but we live in a time where it's almost like when you think of a sex worker, for some reason you automatically think of a woman, but there's a totally different world to it where there's many men sex workers. Now, some can argue that men sex workers make way more money, and some people were even saying that the majority of these men were, the sex working men were at the P. Diddy white parties, that P. Diddy would book mainly men at these parties. Now, I feel like they're embarrassed and they don't want to come forward, but it is kind of embarrassing to be labeled as a sex worker publicly on a international level now. Now, some people can think of it as a great marketing strategy if they come forward and they want to be booked, but it also is putting them at risk because it is illegal as well, right? And so I see a lot of other celebrities speaking out and saying, well, what P. Diddy did is not illegal. Celebrities fly in people all the time for hookups. And I agree, they do that, but they're not coercing them, manipulating them, and drugging them for, SA. So here we go.
Nunez is outside the facility in Gowanus with the very latest. Lizette, good morning.
Good morning, Dan. So TMC is reporting that two sex workers are sharing their encounters with Diddy with the feds. We're also hearing that Diddy has a target on his back while he is behind bars here at the Metropolitan Detention Center.
Okay, I was shook to hear that P. Diddy has a target on his back in this prison already. It's so dramatic. It's like when he asked for bail and it got denied twice. Now keep in mind, he offered $50 million for bail. We talked about that in my last video, so check it out if you haven't already. He offered $50 million for bail. Both judges denied it. They even offered 24-hour security. He would not leave the house, and there would be documentation of who comes and goes, who visits him. They denied that, 100%. Now that he's in this prison in the Bronx, because he's not in the one in Manhattan, they are keeping him segregated. Now he's like, oh, suicide watch, I'm a target, I have a target on my back. I don't think there's anyone in prison who has a target on P. Diddy's back. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't think people are bothered by him. Now, if it gets exposed that he was doing some pedo stuff, yes, I think he will have a target on his back then. We'll save that for another video because I've been hearing a lot of pedo allegations about him too.
TMZ is reporting that more people plan to cooperate with the feds in Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking case.
We found out that these two individuals, and we have actually spoken to one of them. They are both sex workers, currently sex workers. One of them says that they had...
Okay, keep in mind right here. In this TMZ article, they're alleging they spoke to two sex workers, and he said they are alleging. They're not saying he, they're not saying she, they're saying they. This is very interesting, and this is why I think it's men. I think these two sex workers are men. But that's my opinion. That's my opinion. And I'm telling you, if it comes out and you see these men sex workers go into the grand jury and when they get subpoenaed and they speak out, I'm going to be shocked. Now, I also see P. Diddy sending money to these men and saying, hey, don't come forward. Don't say anything. Here's some hush money. Don't say anything at all. I also see that happening too.
An interaction with Diddy in 2014, and they are willing to tell the feds what they know about that interaction.
Jeremy Saland, a criminal...
Damn, 2014? Can you imagine people coming out and exposing you from 2005, 2008, 2014? He touched me. Like, man. And they're waiting all this time. Like, I'm not defending P. Diddy. He could defend himself in court. What I'm trying to say is, like, it is kind of shocking to be held to this standard and you have so many people come out the woodworks exposing you. I wouldn't be surprised if people are starting to say, like, oh, you know, he didn't tip me. I was his waiter. He was rude. I was his limo driver. He was rude. You know, one time he pulled up to the Piggly Wiggly. He was rude. You know, I was working at Taco Bell one time and he was so rude. Like, it's almost giving that. Okay, I just find that interesting. Just funny. Here we go. We have this person is going to be talking about their inside information. Here we go. So the audio might be a little off when he speaks, so bear with me.
Defense attorney weighing in.
You can't, as a prosecutor, subpoena or force a witness to come.
Oh, and also this is Jeremy Saland. He's a defense attorney. So he's coming in with some of, from the defensive side of it, from the legality of it all. Here we go.
Tell the feds what they know about that interaction.
Jeremy Saland, a criminal defense attorney weighing in.
You can't, as a prosecutor, subpoena or force a witness to come speak to you in your office, but you can subpoena them to a grand jury where they can speak there or have to potentially speak there. So whether these are new witnesses, whether these are new complainants, meaning victim parties, making the allegations, will yet to be seen. But it doesn't bode well. It doesn't, certainly it's not a good thing if you're Sean Combs' team.
According to several reports, Diddy has been placed on suicide watch at the Metropolitan Correction Center in Brooklyn. The music mogul's mental state is unknown, but being placed on watch is considered to be a preventative measure. This week, two different judges...
Oh, hold on. We have a sketch. Here we go. So this is the sketch from inside the courtroom. He looks very frail and skinny. But from the last photo I seen, it looked like he was he was eating well. So here's the sketch that we have here. There we go. And this is, I'm facing it this way because we have live viewers watching this as well. I have a live chat going on over here on TikTok, live. And so that's the sketch. And then that's his defense attorney. There he goes right there. Look at that. I just feel like, we live in 2024. Can we have like just one little photo, even if it's pixelated? Do we have the pictures? Here we go.
Denied his request for a $50 million bond. His lead defense attorney is attempting to move him to a different facility in New Jersey as he awaits trial. TMZ is reporting that due to his celebrity status and the allegations, this could bring unwanted attention from other inmates and be...
Like, can we be honest? Like, do you consider P. Diddy a celebrity? If you do, put number 1 in the chat. If you don't, put number 2 in the chat. Just to see.
Threat to Diddy.
What we've been told by a former warden is he's a target.
A former warden said that P. Diddy is a target? I'm not saying that he is or isn't. I just want to know on what grounds. And I'm willing to accept it if he is or not. Here we go.
It's the fact of the matter, and that's why they have him in a solitary part of the jail, because they don't, he becomes a target because it's like what we've been told. It's like a badge of honor that if you were able to inflict some violence on Diddy, that gets you score points with other inmates. So that's
Oh my God. So just because he's a high profile celebrity and you're in prison and you attack him and hurt him, you score points, and so you become more cooler in prison for doing that? Look, listen, I don't know much about prison culture, but I know that there is prison culture and there is like a social hierarchy. I just never thought that, hey, if you attack a celebrity in prison, then all of a sudden people won't mess with you more. What do you get? A honey bun? A pack of cigarettes? Extra noodles? Like, wow.
situation that obviously the jail officials do not want to happen.
And federal investigators have made it clear that they do have video evidence, so they have an idea of who was a part of these freak-offs. Now, the criminal defense attorney that we spoke to, he went on to say, depending on what these sex workers share, that potentially could mean that there would be new charges for Diddy. New charges, depending on what these sex workers bring. What is the statute of limitations, too? Because oftentimes, it's just insane. Yeah. Let's see, because there's more articles that are popping up. There is a live Sean Diddy Combs live updates. Here we go. I was watching this earlier.
Combs, the rapper and music mogul known as Puff Daddy and P. Diddy, was in a Manhattan courtroom on Tuesday pleading not guilty to racketeering and sex trafficking charges.
You play not guilty. There could be so much proof against you, but people deny. Pay off.
Case really stemmed from a decade-long relationship that Combs had with a woman that was his girlfriend, a relationship that defense lawyers say was...
Yeah, it was Cassie was the catalyst. Cassie Ventura was the catalyst, which she settled with him in a matter of, I believe, under 2 days for a large sum of money, which was the fastest settlement that we've seen here in a long time, I think ever. Whatever she was alleging, she basically got paid off by it, and then the video got leaked out of her getting hit in the hallway. But there's a lot more. It was like a domino effect, right? I think he's trying to keep it under wraps. At this point, he's putting out fires, and it's a lot. And I'm telling you, if you watch all my videos on this P. Diddy stuff, you will know everything. You'll be up to date. You're going to be that one friend that's going to know all the tea all the time. Because I'm telling you, it's 24-hour drama watch with P. Diddy over here. All right, here we go.
So we made a bail appeal to Judge Carter. It did not go our way. The fight continues. We're not giving up by a long shot. I told Mr. Combs I'm going to try and get his case to trial as quickly as possible. I'm going to try and minimize the amount of time he spends in very, very difficult and I believe inhumane housing conditions. He's ready. He's focused. He has been ready to defend this case since he first found out about this case. Nothing has changed from his perspective. I obviously would much prefer to fight this case with him out of jail. And
this is P. Diddy's lawyer speaking here. And like I said, the reason I'm not showing it to you on camera is because it tends to get flagged. So this is the best way I'm doing it. So that's P. Diddy's lawyer right there. Okay, here he is. How much do you think this guy's getting paid? How much do you think a lawyer like this gets paid? And like, is it hourly? How many of there are there? What's the firm name? You know, how do you go about picking out a lawyer like this? Here we go. This is insane. So right now it's just footage of his red carpet moments and stuff like that. This is insane. And there's P. Diddy, there's Fat Joe that knew P. Diddy. There's LL Cool J that knew P. Diddy. Where's Jennifer Lopez? She used to date P. Diddy. All this stuff we talked about before. Y'all guys forget that P. Diddy has been around for such a long time.
$1 million Miami mansion to hell on earth where chaos reigns.
Yeah, he did. He had a multi-million-dollar mansion, and now he's in prison. Can you imagine going from a multi-million-dollar home and going to prison? Like the culture shock alone, that's crazy.
Just some of the words used to describe the Metropolitan Detention Center where...
Oh my God, yes, this is juicy. Okay, so they keep saying that he's at the Metropolitan Detention Center. Okay, I think they call it the SHU or something like that. These are some of the words to describe this place. Here we go.
Sean Diddy Combs is now being held without bail after pleading not guilty to sex trafficking and racketeering charges.
Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct.
He is not the first high-profile inmate to pass through these walls. Ghislaine Maxwell, R. Kelly, Pharma Bro, Martin Shkreli, and crypto fraudster Sam Bankman-Fried, all as they waited for their federal criminal trials, called this jail home. But the conditions of the prison are far from homey, notoriously described as, quote, dreadful, as one judge put it. Some of the bench have even moved away from sending nonviolent defendants there. In April, a group of detainees that prosecutors...
This is what it looks like in the inside, guys. Look, it looks just like the movies. Look, it looks just like that in the inside. You see that? Look. There's a little cafeteria down below, and you got little cells up there at the top. Wow.
Said were MS-13 gang members in court documents, stabbed an inmate 44 times.
Now they're showing the people stabbing each other, but I can't show that. Well, y'all saw they were in there hanging out, and then now they start stabbing each other. But yeah, MS-13 gang members, whoa.
In an attack caught on camera, 2 shivs were recovered from the attack. You see them here.
They made little weapons in there. Look at the little weapons they be making in there. It looks like a little plastic fork or something. So I can definitely see an MS-13 gang member see P. Diddy in there and attack him just for credit and status within the prison.
The victim survived. And in the last 3 years alone, 4 inmates have died by suicide. And violence is not the only issue. Accusations of medical neglect, staffing shortages, smuggling of drugs.
Yeah, that's one thing that fears me about these prison institutions is medical neglect. You know, you're not gonna get the best dentists. You're not gonna get. They'll give you medications for antibiotics, but it's like the bare cheapest minimum. You know what I'm saying? The cheapest one. You're not, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to get the good stuff. Oh, you have a toothache? Just pull the tooth. Oh, you have a cavity? Just pull the tooth. They're not going to patch it up. Like, that's scary. Oh, you're on medication? If you're on medication at home, anything, put number 5 in the chat. Can you imagine going to prison and you have to take medication every day for a chronic illness, right? Thyroid, diabetes, whatever the case may be, right? It's your personal stuff. And can you imagine being in prison and they just don't give you the medicine? Oh, we forgot. We're too tired. You'll get it when you get it. It's stuff like that that's scary. It's like you're not being well taken care of in that facility. And I think that a lot of facilities do that. I don't have no proof. I've never been to them. Just my opinion. But according to what they're saying in this article, that prison has had complaints. And let's roll it back. Those complaints.
And in the last 3 years alone, 4 inmates have died by suicide. And violence is not the only issue. Accusations of medical neglect, staffing shortages, smuggling of drugs, some allegedly facilitated by employees. At least 6 staff members charged with crimes in the last 5 years, according to the AP. Some accused of accepting bribes and providing contraband.
I've had clients.
I told y'all that some of these officers who work in these prisons accept bribes. So who's to say that P. Diddy would not approach one of these officers and say, I'll give you $1 million. Go over there and get me this, get me that. Smuggle in this for me. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Stuff like that. So if that was to happen, just leave the gate unlocked. Leave the door unlocked. Here's $3 million. Just forget to unlock the door. Yeah, you'll get in trouble. You'll get fined. You'll probably go to jail for 6 months. But when you get out, you have $1 million. It's stuff like that, bro. Okay, here we go.
Hell, as the worst conditions they've been in.
Lance A. Clark is a federal defense attorney who's been there many times.
Now, if the government is going to mandate that they are responsible for your well-being, they have to ensure the safety of your well-being.
Occupy the seats until they get heat.
In the winter of 2019, protests over a power outage left inmates without light or heat for a week in the cold.
I understand how cold it must be in those cells, and not to have any electricity, any lights, and to not be able to communicate with your family is just inhumane.
The prison has about 1,200 detainees and is the only federal prison in the nation's largest city. The DOJ shut down New York City's other federal jail, the Metropolitan Correctional Center, back in 2021, 2 years after Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide there. A Bureau of Prisons spokesman telling NBC News they, quote, take seriously addressing the staffing and other challenges at MDC Brooklyn, adding the director appointed an urgent action team and they've increased staffing.
The MDC has historically had tremendous problems, and the problems aren't resolved.
Combs' lawyer is originally hoping he could await trial under house arrest at his mansion, now arguing for him to be moved to a prison in New Jersey in the lead up to this trial, citing the prison's poor conditions, violence, and deaths. On Wednesday, his lawyer said he was being held in a special housing unit with an extra level of security.
Yasmin's back with us now. So what is next? Is he going to be in jail in this facility until the trial begins? Is there a chance he could, get moved earlier than that? As of this moment, as of this hour, as of today, yes. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to be appealing this thing next to the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to overturn the judge's order here to try and get him actually released to his mansion on $50 million bail, wanting a GPS monitoring system, limited visits from family members, friends, so on and so forth. That is what they're proposing because of course, the violence I talked about in that piece inside these jail walls. They also, in the meantime, Hal, want to get him moved to a jail and or prison in New Jersey. The judge so far has essentially said that is up to the Bureau of Prisons to make that decision. Nonetheless, it's all going to be on appeals leading up to the trial. His next court appearance, by the way, October 9th. So looking for that, of course, and any decisions coming out from the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals on this order.
Thanks for watching. Stay up to...
Wow. So what do you think about that, chat? All right, so... let me see if there's any other updates because it's happening now. Let me see. Here we go. So in the latest, what I found out today is they showed the United States versus Sean Combs. They have this evidence here. This is photo, and you can kind of see it here. So in this photo, what they're showing us is that these are the things they found in his house. Now, in one of those was I can only describe it like 2 high-powered guns, but the serial number is scratched off, and just like a lot of weapons, a lot of bulletproof vests, but all the weapons seem to have like the serial number scratched off. Usually when you find a gun that has a serial number scratched off, it's been used in a crime. and like that, and people sell them and get passed around. So it's not looking good. Like when they find stuff like that for.
At the center of some of these charges, but defense lawyers argue that this is essentially taking conflicts that happen behind closed doors in a loving relationship and using them to accuse this powerful man of wrongdoing. Prosecutors sought and the judge agreed to have Combs detained, put in jail while he awaits trial. Defense lawyers offered a bail package, putting up potentially Combs' estate in Miami, which they say is worth $48 million to secure his release. But the judge thought otherwise, saying that Combs could be a flight risk, that he has the means and wherewithal to get out of the jurisdiction, and that he's been accused multiple times of intimidation, pressuring people who've accused him, people who may have witnessed abuse, to stay quiet. Now, the defense is going to go to court, and they are going to ask another judge to grant bail. They are unhappy with that decision, which, as of this moment, puts Sean Combs behind bars.
There you go. All right, chat. I think I'm going to leave you there. Let me know what you think about that drama in the comments down below. Please leave a like, leave a comment. It helps me out so much in the algorithm. This is Rich Loves with the hottest celebrity news and gossip on YouTube.